Thank you for taking the time to talk with me, Congressman Cicilline, now not Mayor, learning to say that correctly. So I know last night you were with some new members of Congress at a reception at the White House. How was that?
It was great. The President and First Lady and the Vice President had a reception for all the new members of Congress. It was great. It was
Republicans and Democrats?
Yes, and it was an opportunity, obviously, to spend time with new colleagues and build relationships and a lot of good conversation. But it was obviously, anytime you're invited to the White House is a very special honor, so it was great.
Was it very snazzy? Was it a nice affair they put together?
It was nice. You know, it was. They had a wonderful military band, and everyone went through a receiving line to greet the President and First Lady. And we had seen the President and the Vice President at our Issues Conference this past weekend in Maryland, the Democratic Caucus had. So we did a lot of work over the weekend on issues that we're going to take up as a caucus. But last night was a great opportunity to spend time with new colleagues and to enjoy the beauty of the White House.
And I know now we have your two committee assignments we have now. We have Small Business and Foreign Affairs, and Foreign Affairs has already started meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, we have actually had two hearings. We had our first hearing on the eve of the visit of the President of China, focusing on Chinese-U.S. relations and an issue that I'm particularly interested in as it relates to trade and as it relates to the kind of protection of American intellectual property and how do we keep American jobs here, and particularly American manufacturing jobs here, and the sort of trade imbalance between the United States and China and the manipulation of the Chinese currency, all those things that are making it harder and harder to keep American jobs here and in Rhode Island and to make things here. I mean, I had a big focus in my campaign about getting back to a time when we made things in this country so that you can go into a store and buy products made in America. So it was a very informative hearing on that. And then we had a hearing today, in fact, on some of the urgent challenges facing the United Nations and some of the reforms that are underway and some work that remains to be done. We have peacekeepers from the United Nations in 14 places around the world. The second largest military presence in the world is the UN peacekeepers, and so ensuring that we strengthen and improve the operation of the United Nations and that we address some of the serious issues that are presented there, I think is important. It was a very good hearing. And then we began work on the Small Business Committee. We'll have our first hearing tomorrow, but I'm very eager to get to work on the Small Business Committee because I think that's a committee that can really provide help to small businesses in Rhode Island, which is really the backbone of our economy. It represents 96% of the economy of Rhode Island. And so figuring out how we can cut red tape and reduce regulations and make it easier for small businesses to have access to capital, those are all things I'll work on the Small Business Committee, so I'm excited about it.
Do you feel any whiplash so far where you're doing the United Nations 1 minute and an hour later you're addressing some event of teachers or something and then you're back to something else and there's a letter on your desk?
No, I mean, it's actually, in that way, it's similar to being in the mayor's office. I mean, there were lots of different things that changed quickly. The big difference is that, when I was mayor, you sort of set your own schedule. And for the most part, you get to keep it unless you're running late or you change it. In this job, you don't really get to set your schedule because they'll call a vote and it will be scheduled for a vote, or there'll be a hearing scheduled sort of quickly and you're expected to do this. So you don't have as much control over your actual schedule, which is a challenge. But I think you just learn that certain things happen at certain times and sort of adjust to it.